I have specific memories before I incarnated on this planet of being on the ship, and my light began to rise and rise and rise and rise, and this started drawing attention. Mantis comes right in your energy because this is your divine throne. This is your field. I wish I knew this when I popped open. Welcome back to another episode of Confessions of a Galactic Drama Queen. Me. My name is Karina. I'm a spiritual activator, cosmic channel, and light language transmitter here on Earth at this time to help you return back home to your God consciousness and to help you reprogram your consciousness back to its holy divine programming. You were drawn here to this content for a reason. In my last video, we talked all about communicating with ETs, how other dimensional communication is a huge part of the awakening process, and why it's important for us to see this truth, see this light, and take back our power in this on our ascension journey. And so in this video, we are going to be talking all about discernment and anchoring it back to how knowledge is power and bringing light to situations around this in order for us to really step into our mission of light and fully do what we came here to do. And I will be talking about that mantis that came into my room. So when I was first in my awakening process, training with my guides, all was good. I, would call them protection. I got really comfortable with this.
Yeah, we're so not in touch with our own reality, hey? I'm just saying for myself, so not in touch. Anyway, so the self-doubt that I have, the fear, the constant fear of bad things happening to me and that not going to have support or not going to have understanding, or that I don't even enjoy, I don't even deserve happiness, I don't even deserve peace, I don't even deserve love. Yes, these are honest. I'm being honest with you. This is my honest experience. This is my honest experience. Because Aaron has lost the plot, because that's what I'm saying. Aaron has lost the plot, but you know what? I think I'm more sane than the majority of people around by saying this is how I feel. So, but you shouldn't feel that way. I know I shouldn't. I know logically. I know in a way, in my head, the kind of character, the guy that I am. I know what a blessing I am to people's lives. I know what I have to offer people. I know it, but I don't always feel it. And there's always this constant conflict and division within me that says you're a piece of shit, man. Or you just don't deserve it, or something or other. You don't deserve to be alive. You don't deserve to have good things. You don't deserve to have love. I keep saying that. You don't even deserve to have self-respect or to feel, self-fulfillment. You don't deserve. And you're just making a fool of yourself and a shame of yourself. When I talk about it, it comes easy to say those things. But to say, no, you're an incredible guy. You really have something to offer. You really have something beautiful. It almost goes against, there's something inside of me that's saying, no. The ego is saying, no. You can't say that. You can't honor your intention. You can't honor your divinity. You can't honor your emotion. You can't honor your uniqueness. You can't honor your authenticity, because that means death. You can't do it. You start talking about it when you were a kid. You got slammed against the wall or whatever it is. You got rejected. You got booted out of school. You got booted out of Jewish camp and whatever it is. All of these things, don't do it. Just stay. Just play that field. That you should take your brother's abuse every day. His mean tricks, his ugly behavior towards you, and whatever it is, he's bullying, he's beating you up. Take it and just keep quiet, because my mother would be like, you guys are fighting again, like, can't you just leave each other alone? It's like, it was my fault. It's like, you're causing me problems. I'm like, but hold on a minute. Say, no, I don't care if you got if you got like big bruises on your arm. I don't care if you got a sprained wrist because he keeps putting your hand behind, putting your hand behind your back. I don't care, and that used to happen. I had a jaw, whatever, it was clicking because he punched me in the jaw. I don't care. Just leave me alone. Take the beatings and shut the hell up. So that's it for me now. It's like, okay, God, universe, bring the abuse, bring it. Let me just everything that I've gone through, my own loneliness, my own dissatisfaction with things, and just bring it. I'll just keep quiet. Just keep on bringing it. So for me to actually stand up and proud and to say, you know what, I deserve and I want to be happy or whatever it is, it's like, who the hell do you think you are? Do you see what I'm dealing with here? Do you see what you're dealing with in your own life? Have you even paid attention to it enough in your own life? Are you too busy off studying, I don't know, ancient architecture, ancient beings or something like that? Or, I don't know, what's the relationship that you have with yourself? What's the relationship that you have with your emotional existence? Not just your relationship. What's your emotional relationship to yourself, to God, to life, to others? To death? What is your emotional relationship with it? I'm sharing my emotional relationship with all of this. And I have to, because if I don't share it, and also to own it is so painful. It's so large. It's like, geez, man, I got such a big job on my hands to do. I live with the self-loathing all the time, the self-denial all the time. It happens automatically. It's happening, and I try and fight against it every day, and I wrestle with it every single day, and I try and be a better person and get through it, and just sort of crawl my way out of Shawshank, like he did in the sewage tunnel. Crawl myself out of it, and it's raw sewage, and that's what I'm doing it, and I'm doing it every day. And yes, it's so much easier not to do, which most people don't do, and they'll turn to Eckhart because it's all love and light, and you're already enlightened, and there's no more ego, and there's no more suffering, and it's only happiness, and it's only bliss. Meanwhile, you're still stuck there. You haven't even moved a centimeter within the tunnel, surrounded by all this raw sewage.
Be grateful for whatever your experience of this moment is, and if you cannot be grateful, at least allow it to be, because it already is. You might as well. Now, if you did this little thing, it sounds very little, and it is very little, allowing your experience of this moment to be the way it is. Just this little thing would remove, well, it's hard to put it in percentage terms, let's say 95% of the suffering from your life. I don't know about the rest, the 5%, we'll get to that sometime. That would already remove a gigantic chunk of unhappiness in whatever form.
I don't intend this to be a long recording. I just sometimes don't have the space, to dial in, if you will, while having to balance out all the nitty-gritty odds and ends of life, chores, and again, just let me close the door. It's banging, the wind is blowing and banging the door. Find it again, hard to balance out the mystical, if you want to call it, or the spiritual with the physical. It's hard to have one foot in both worlds. Yeah, but what can you do? So I don't want. But for me, again, the dialing in is very important, and is very uplifting. And again, not just to create the space or enjoy, to plug in, let's just say, to dial in, but to actually offload, to share the energy, and a lot of the time this is unsettling energy that's there, that need to be spoken of and turn into word, turn into flesh almost in a way, in order for it to be processed or to be just released or expressed or whatever it might be. I don't know. I think it's important that again, it's not just to get freaking views or subscribers, and a lot of these spiritual, I don't even know what that word means, YouTube channels and what they're about in that regard. It's a lot, about, it's a fiasco. I've been meaning to do a video on like one or two YouTubers, just random people that I've come across that I just feel are cut and copy and pasted. And I just came across this lady, and her title of the video is The Need for Spiritual Discernment. And the irony of it. Anyway, so my point is that, again, I'm not sharing, I mean, obviously it's nice to be liked and to be felt and to be seen, but the necessity of sharing, the necessity of expressing for myself, to make it, to turn it into matter, to turn it into flesh, for other eardrums and other souls to share that, absorb, if you will, I would say sometimes the intensity of existence. I think it's fair to say the intensity for myself, of the duality of things, of the inner conflict that goes on within me, the inner turmoil, the inner pain that goes on within me. That's what this, I wanted to talk about, is that I find it so hard to be positive, whatever that means. I find it so hard to pray. I'm just being honest. I find it so hard to be appreciative. I'm just being honest. I really find it very, very difficult to do. Where I see other people in my life that I know, not everybody, but maybe one or two, I think one is sincere about it, about the ability to pray. The other one is just this sort of toxic positivity guy that refuses to, he was just given notice that him and his wife and his 2 children have to be out of the place where they live by the end of July, and now it's the 20th of June. And he's just like, I just so appreciate, not really appreciate, but like, the positivity and something better will come of this. And just as Wayne Dyer says, and just as Eckhart Tolle says, and you've got to vibrate at a higher frequency in order to attract that which is of your vibration. And if you're in a low vibrational frequency, then you're going to get stuck, and you're just going to attract all those things, and you're just going to manifest it. And so, his wife is a receptionist at a school, and she's having a very difficult time there, and he's like, but your mind frame is not right. You're not thinking positively, you're not thinking abundantly, you're not showing appreciation for it. Can you imagine that? And that's the problem with this positive toxicity or toxic positivity or whatever it is. Again, you're just ignoring your own emotional human experience. Again, the miracle is not to walk on water, the miracle is to walk on the earth. But look at me, everybody, I'm walking on water. That's what it's become. It's become a childish cult of look at me, and how spiritual I am, and how many of these words I know. I'm a light worker, energy healer. I don't know, I'm not going to get into it, but you know what I'm saying. And all of this show and tell, which is such garbage, not really connecting with the true essence, because the thing is that these people are not, like this guy I'm talking about anyways. He's a Jewish guy, so there's something called Hashgacha Pratis, right? It means the will of God, in that way, and it's divine, and it all works out the way that it's supposed to be, And I'm thinking to myself, buddy, you know what? Like, you're feeling this way because it's not a major catastrophe that you're having to move, and you might not be so much involved in it. Maybe your wife will do most of the packing and whatever it is. You might not be that involved in it, so it's not a massive thing. But what about the woman that several years ago, her son was on the soccer field at school, and the goalpost fell. Somebody kicked the soccer ball, it hit the goalpost, and it fell, and the goalpost fell and fell on his head, and he went into a coma and he died. This was a beautiful boy, like a beautiful soul. He was very interested in helping people on the streets. He actually, he created this trolley that the people who go through your garbage and collect the recyclable things, that they can have a bicycle or trolley that they're able to these are homeless people. This is what this kid was about. He was a beautiful child. He, just like really salt of the earth. And at the age of 11 or 12 or 13, I think he was 14 years old, boom. And then again, like with Eckhart, and I'm going to include that clip a lot of the time, I think I can get away with it for copyright reasons. It wasn't copyrighted, where he says that to remove 95% of your happiness, your unhappiness, to remove of your unhappiness, 95% is that you allow, appreciate, and accept the situation for what it is. And he giggles about it. Then he says, I don't know about the other 5%, but we'll get there. It's like very, very dangerous, very, very damning stuff. And I keep coming back to it because it's just anyway, for myself, sometimes I do feel like I should be more positive, I should be more appreciative, I should be more acknowledging what is, but I can't. At certain times I can, but I find it very heavy to do. I'll tell you a story what happened last night. So what happened was, I was busy in the garden, I wasn't concentrating, there was a lot going on, and I put my cell phone on the bonnet of my car, right? I'm driving a courtesy car now, so it's like a pickup truck. It's massive, it's like a double cab, it's like a 4x4, it's huge, I hate it. It cost me a fortune in gas, petrol, as you call it here, whatever, I'm waiting for my car to be fixed for about a month and a half now, but they've given me this tank. So I put my phone on the bonnet of the car, whatever it is. When the sun was still up, it was still light. Anyways, I did a couple of things that I needed to drop. I needed to go somewhere, and I was in a hurry to go there. I was giving a lift to somebody. It was madness. When I got into the car, I drove all the way to their place. I dropped them off, which was about a 10-minute drive, up massive hills, you can just imagine. I had no idea that my cell phone was on the bonnet of the car. I had no idea. As I'm about to arrive back home, after about a 16-minute drive, seriously, these hills, the area is called Glen Hills, the suburb, because it's just hills. And it's sharp turns. Jeez, you have no idea how sharp the turns. You're coming down a hill, the incline is huge. When I put up this car, when you have to climb up there, it's like, it's hectic. Anyways, I get to the house and it's dark and I see something on the bonnet of the car and I say, hey, wait a minute, that looks like my cell phone. And I pull over to the side of the car, I think, oh my word, it's my cell phone. And I went into a shock because, I got my Creighton business number on this phone and I haven't got a backup, and I have backed up some of the numbers, but what a mission it is if I lose my phone. It is an absolute tragedy. And my recordings that I've done recently that I haven't put onto the computer, on my laptop, I did that the other day, but maybe I've done about four or five recordings. All of those recordings, and lately my recordings, I feel for myself, have been absolutely top notch. Really very, very good. Really connecting with the flow of things, really getting to the heart of what I'm trying to say and whatever. And I would have lost all of those recordings. Gone. That's it. No way to get it back. The phone would have, here's the thing, is that I wouldn't have even known where my phone disappeared to. I wouldn't even, if it did fall off the bonnet. How did it not fall off the bonnet of the car? For heaven's sakes, man. So I really felt like deep appreciation. I was having a rough day. I was feeling unwell. I had to go to shopping centers and malls, and I was in and out of shops, and I had a headache, and I even have a headache this morning. My massage therapist went all the way back to Thailand, and now she's regretting it. And now she wants to come back, but she doesn't have any money. Oh, she's another story as well, because she was having an issue with the receptionist. Twice she's had issues where she worked. That's when she moved into the cottage where I used to live, and we had a fallout. Then she moved back there, and I kept telling her, go back, stop. I don't know why I'm getting into this, but so petty, and that she doesn't know what she's doing. Anyways, most people don't. So I was really appreciative and really wowed and kind of, like, how on earth did that happen? I still don't know how it's stuck to the bonnet of the car. It's not magnet. I haven't got a magnet on my phone that, on the back that it's stuck down. It was nothing. And the thing is that when I saw it, it was just about to fall off. It was like, leaning over. 40% of the phone was leaning over the edge of the bonnet. So I managed to just stop, and it was crazy. So I do feel grateful. And I do appreciate. You might have to say, well, why did that have to happen at all? To some degrees, these things need to happen. But in my life, it's also my loneliness. I wake up alone. I go to bed. I go to sleep on my own. I'm not a happy guy. I don't seek for joy. When people say, what do you do to bring joy into your life? I don't know what that means, but I'm not a happy person. I have such crippling self-doubt. There's this guy named Kamal. He's an Indian chap. I met him through the municipality where he worked. I've known him for a while, and he really likes me. He's a very sweet guy. And I meet up with him. He's like, please, dude. And he doesn't push me. He just really enjoys it, and I hope you well. And he's sincere. He's a very sweet guy. Like I said before, other people just want to kind of be my saving grace, or I find that they're just more selfishly intended. They don't really care about They don't even know, how to be there for, like, not even that Kamal knows how to be there for my well-being. I mean, he just likes the person that I am. But I find that very difficult. So he went and he bought me these chocolates, these Lindt chocolates. You know, we often buy each other chocolates and sweets. I think he's gay. I think he's bisexual or something like that. Whatever it is. I mean, he knows that I'm not gay. But, you know, he'll send me like emojis and like, here's a hug for you and whatever it is. You know, like two little boys, not two little boys, that sounds dodgy, but like a boy hugging his teddy bear. I mean, I'm not interested in that. He's just sweet. He's a sweet guy. He's very innocent in that way, you know. He's in his mid-40s, and it was his birthday. And then he's got a dog named Riley, and Riley sleeps on his bed with him. And then sometimes he doesn't want to wake Riley up, so he'll sleep on the floor. They had a birthday party for the dog. You know, they had balloons, and they got a cake for especially for the dog, a dog cake with a candle on it. I mean, that's the type of guy he is, you know. But and I sometimes when people, that's why I'm very nervous of my channel, you know, getting a lot of views. My one video, for some reason, I think it's got over 600 views. Now, I'm sure a majority of people are clicking on it and listening to 2 minutes because it was the algorithm that suggested it to them, and then they're like, what crap is this, you know? I mean, it's one thing to see the views, but it's another thing if you actually check the duration of the time watched. You know, you'll be like, 3% made it to the end or something like that. I mean, look, it is 50 minutes long. It is over YouTube, you know. But yeah, like for me, I don't know, I would feel, I wouldn't be able to, I don't know how I would manage. If I was getting like 1,000 views on my videos, I don't know how I would be myself, I'm being honest. I don't know how I would not play to the audience. Not that I would play to the audience, I just don't know how I would do it. You know, I can't do public speaking, I'm not comfortable with it. You know? And it comes out of a place of shame, it comes out of a place that I don't really have anything to offer. You know, so many people listening to me, tuning into me, giving me their time. I never grew up with that. I grew up with a mother that was unavailable, I grew up with a father that was unavailable, and I grew up with three brothers that used to bully me, one in particular, every single day. I was an absolute cast aside. I was absolutely abandoned by my parents. They did not give a crap about me. I mean, my well-being, yes, but otherwise, if I got sick, I got the flu, and I was just a thorn in their side. Being an emotional kid, you know, and just not, I was, and I still am to my father in that way, and my brothers to a degree. Like, I kind of shine the person that I am, and they know it, and I think they feel threatened in a way. Like, they know, but they never ask me for advice, they never phone me and say, hey, have you ever experienced this, or I'm having a bit of anxiety, or I'm feeling, no, there's nothing like that whatsoever, nothing. Anyway, so I don't know, sometimes I'm very cynical, I've become so cynical, and I've become so disheartened, you know, and I do believe that there's life after death. I do believe that I don't know whether we chose to be born into this world. I mean, some people say it so confidently. It's like, bro, you don't know. You know, dude, you don't know. You can't say it. Some people will say, oh, I remember, like this one woman that I'm going to do the video, and she says, I remember my past lives. Are you sure? That's not your imagination. Are you sure? Like, again, you're just not holding on the level where you have these spiritual abilities, these clairvoyances that you talk about, or whatever it is. I don't think so. I don't think it's just given to somebody who, you know, who isn't qualified enough in the spiritual way to handle it. I just don't think that just because this lady from Los Angeles, whatever, you know, an American woman, which is often of the case, you know, sort of in her mid-20s, and now she's become a unicorn, you know, light worker, radiator of love and higher frequency, and that all of a sudden you not only have one skill, not one, but you have so many Like if you had to write out a spiritual CV, gee whiz, like what your powers of what you can do. I mean, I came across a woman on Next Level Soul podcast. It was like, she can channel just about anybody. She was saying to the host, she was saying to the guy, I can't remember his name, she said, are we going to channel? She said, yeah. He said, well, who would you want to channel? It's like, so all of these things that they can do. I don't know why I talk about the spiritual community so much, because it has infiltrated the, sort of the general culture as well on different levels. Anyways, besides, so why am I talking about that? Is because it's not common to have spiritual abilities, to be able to understand your dreams and somebody else's dreams. You don't have all of these, the sixth sense, and it's just, look guys, I can do this now and I'm able to, no. It's nonsense. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know, why am I getting into this? Just for myself, how hard it is to connect, to pray, to just pray. And so again, I do feel a lot of it is orchestrated. I do believe that, we so, I don't know, we're so limited in the depth of our understanding of the mystery and how extreme things are, and how, I don't know what to say really. The nature of this reality, how it's put together, how it's sewn together, angels, higher selves, just higher beings, other dimensions. It's just so much, and I do believe in all of it. I do absolutely think so. I absolutely, without a doubt, Like when I messaged my mother about the situation with my phone on the bonnet, I was more amazed at the miracle of it actually staying there for so long. She thought I was kind of saying, because I didn't, she couldn't really interpret it. She was like, are you upset that you left, that you were irresponsible, that you were mindless for putting it on the bonnet? I was like, I didn't even think of that. But for her, she doesn't see it like, with synchronicities. They don't see it as anything really significant or meaningful. Neither do they do their dreams, or just the events in their lives, or the children, or the people in their lives, or everything else in their life. But all of it is significant. All of it is in relationship to something of higher happening, if you want to call it, of a higher, of just a higher order. I don't deny that. I don't deny that. There has to be, because we are like little children, We're like monkeys, really, just beating our chest and scratching our ass, and whatever it is. And there's something much higher at play. There's no question about it, that even if I get a glimpse of 2% of how much higher there is at play here, it'll freak me the hell out, and I'll probably can't be snapped back into reality, or into the material, into the matrix, into the Aaron character that I'm playing here. I just won't be able to. So at the same time, I just feel that my own emotional needs have been neglected, by the universe, by my own loneliness, by my own desperation to connect to people, for working on relationships for so long, and not being able to have much to show for it. I'm scared of bad things happening to me. I'm scared, I think often of the time, about my mother, if she has to fall unwell, and then what happens, because she's such a big player in my life. And I think about bad things happening often. I do. And you know why I think that? This is we're getting into the heart of it. Do you know why I think that? Because there's a part of me that's in trauma, that feels that I deserve it when these things happen. It's almost like, again, that spitefulness that I had with my brother. I've spoken about this in my last videos. That spitefulness that I had with my brother about taking my favorite toy, and finally I get it, and destroying it, Or let's say I recorded my favorite TV show, and I recorded all of them, and then he would take the tape and rip out the, look at me and say, watch this, watch, you want to see a magic trick? And take, the VHS tapes, and take the tape and just, and then you're sitting, trying to put it back together again, glue it and whatever, but it just doesn't happen. while my mother is busy in the kitchen and I'm crying, and she's like, "Put yourself together. Would you two stop it? I got enough going on. Now I must worry about Aaron and he's crying." And whatever it is. You see? So for myself, I feel the spitefulness. I feel that if I was this divine sentient being, right, of what I feel myself to be and what I feel I'm a part of, then why have I been treated with such disregard by my family? Why was I thrown into the lion's den? Why was I casted aside? Why was I neglected? Why was I abandoned? Why was I overlooked? Why was I abused by my brother? And you can say, well, everybody has gone through something similar in their own ways. Fine. Fine. If that's your thing, that's your thing. That's it. Okay? Like I'm saying, this is my experience. So, well, it happens to 90% of people. It's just the way it goes. I don't care. I'm talking about me. I don't care what happens to other people. I'm not, you can say it's just part of, no, I'm not. It's just the way things go. Yes, I understand that, and I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that it's highly unlikely that you're going to be born to conscious parents, or that my father had a clue, or my mother had a clue, or they would, not even that they had a clue, that they really just was supportive. Like, I understand. My father's father was an alcoholic. He died a drunk. His mother was not emotionally available at all. He also had, my mother had a ridiculous childhood. Her sister committed suicide. Her father died at a young age. She grew up in real serious poverty. I understand it. And when I spoke to my mother, they were Jewish and religious. And I said to my mother, "How did you decide to have 5 children?" She said, "It's not like we decided, it's just what we did." So I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Yeah, if it was just happened, it happened, type of thing. There was no thought about it. The Bible says be fruitful and multiply, and so we had children. We were just fulfilling an ancient sacred act, of bearing children. So, but for what? Why don't you go and plant some flowers? I don't know, adopt a cat or adopt a parrot, last you 80 years, or something like that. Why children? What's the but again, no significance, in a way. Not the deep understanding of the individual soul, of the individual psychology. Look at my brothers now. So not well. So not healthy. So not healthy. My father still childish. Still, guys, this is the life that you're living. This is what's going on. It's a joke. It's a joke. You're running around like children. You're trying to impress each other and everybody else in your life. It's like, hello, wake up. It's like you are absolutely disconnected from yourselves. You are absolutely removed from your very essence or your authentic self. Just your emotional state. You're so disconnected from your emotional state. And your emotions, and I wanted to do another video on this, maybe what I should have started off, but your emotional experience of being a father, your emotional experience of being a brother, your emotional experience of being a human being, emotional experience of just your very existence. What's the emotional connection to your very existence? One can say, well, you're a mother because you have a child. Yes, practically, but you say, what is your emotional relationship to being a mother? This is what we're missing out on life on so many levels. What's your emotional relationship to your pet? Do you have one? It's like, well, I own a pet and I feed the pet, I feed the cat, but what's your emotional relationship? Because that's what's real. That's what's, other stuff is just words and titles and actual structure. But what's your relationship? It's like having, on a movie, and you're having Kate Winslet and DiCaprio, and they're just talking their lines. "Hello, Rose, how are you today?" And Rose says, "I am fine, Jack. You are looking pretty cool in those, in your waistcoat." "Well, Rose, I've always wanted to wear a waistcoat, but I've never been able to afford one. But now no relationship." Okay, and they're acting, and that's it. You get Jack and Rose in the Titanic, and we're having a great time, type of thing. And But what's the emotional relationship? What's their emotional relationship to Jack and his poverty of the life that he comes from and his hardships? What's it on an emotional level? What's with Rose and her emotional experience to growing up in a very wealthy upbringing, very opulent, very type of lifestyle and having to conform, remember the story. I use the Titanic because it's probably a movie that most people have watched. But what's your relationship? If you look at the relationship amongst people in the Truman Show to Truman, what was their relationship? They were freaking actors, that's all. Did they care about Truman? No, the only way they had emotional connection to Truman was an investment of him staying immature, him staying unconscious, and him continuing the repetition of playing against his own emotional experience in his own life, into himself. That's what Truman did. He honored his emotional experience. He's like, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. When I speak to my wife, I don't feel that she loves me. I don't feel that that's authentic. I don't feel that she's like, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? What's going on? You don't see me. You don't listen to me. You don't hear me, because the things that I really want you to hear me about that are coming from an emotional need, you're neglecting me and you're rejecting me and you're trying to change my mind. And then if I am feeling emotionally unsettled or curious or whatever it is, then you distract me. Oh, let's go to the bedroom and make love and whatever it is, Like you're trying to throw me off and try to just distract me from my, from what I'm feeling, from what's being called, what's being pulled from within me, the direction in which I'm going, which I feel I'm being called to. And that's the thing, is that when we call to authenticity, when we call to life itself, and in a life that people have murdered their authenticity, murdered their calling in their own lives, then they don't want you to do it either. They don't want you to do it. They don't want you to leave the Truman Show. They don't want you to take self-responsibility, because they're not taking responsibility. So what is that self-responsibility? Is that emotional connection and relationship with yourself to life, to your own body, to your own existence, to your own, finite nature, that one day you are going to die. It's not just a concept, everybody dies. You can be sure of two things, death and taxes, So what is your relationship? Not just as a concept. What is your relationship with God? Not just as a freaking concept. What is your relationship? And this is for myself. This is my relationship with God. This is the challenge. This is my emotional relationship, because again, I feel that as I was growing up, as whatever it is, I was emotionally neglected. I was completely casted aside. I was bullied, traumatized by my brother on a daily basis. I'm not making this up. My parents turned a blind eye. I didn't have an exist. The only reason why they had me, like I said before, was because the Bible says be fruitful and multiply. Then also in the Jewish religion, you're not supposed to use contraceptives. So that's it. That's what you're a product of. So that was my father and mother's intention. Then my mother and father's intention was just to get by. My father's intention was to be successful at business, because it makes him feel good, it makes him feel empowered. Not about raising children. Not about that. Who's raising children today? We use the word kids. I don't like the word kids. Who's raising children today? We do it because we're supposed to do it, often of the time. It gives us a sense of meaning and a sense of power, often of the time. We don't have an emotional relationship with the child, because we don't even allow the child to have an emotional relationship with themselves. We drop children off at playgroup at a very young age, and the child doesn't want to go, doesn't want to be around strange kids, and we're like, I know this through experience. And then the teacher says, no, don't worry, we'll take the kid, you disappear, and in 5 minutes they'll forget about you and they'll play. So no, they haven't. It's a trauma. It's that separation anxiety. They're too young. But I understand. People have to work. People have to go to work. They have to drop their children off at creches. I was at a creche the one day. I saw a 3-month-old baby that gets dropped off at 7 o'clock in the morning and picked up at 5:30, 5 days of the week. That's what happens. Because parents have to work. We live in a system, but the thing is that the system exists and the system continues because we ourselves put in our energy all the time into the system. We are investing in the system, like I said before. We are the ones that are fueling the matrix with our own energy because we're not prepared to have an emotional relationship with ourselves, with life, with one another, with nature, with God, with our very existence. We're not prepared to do that. Because each one of ourselves has been rejected emotionally by in our own upbringing. We have been neglected for our own calling, our own skills, it's true. Each one of us have a specific skill. Each one of us has got a specific gift, right? But that doesn't matter in culture and society. That doesn't matter what it might be. My gift is psychology, is philosophy, is life in that way. Some people are brilliant artists. Some people are brilliant poets and authors. They're just different. Some people are good at craft, being a carpenter. Some people are like brilliant at fishing, or whatever it is, or it's just so many things. And physical or sports. There's so many different things, but so many of the time we're not allowed to investigate what that is, and we're not supported in that way either. What the hell did I learn at school? When I went to Jewish day school, what did I learn? What was in suit for me? What was encouragement for my essence and for my well-being? What was it? What was nothing? It was shoved down my throat, and the fact that I couldn't pass my grades at Jewish school or normal school, whatever it is, showed that I was a delinquent. Meanwhile, my whole very existence and my whole very well-being is absolutely denied. Is absolutely suppressed, and not only suppressed, but not just disregarded, but loathed. My mother got a call from my teacher. Well, Aaron doesn't concentrate in class. Aaron might repeat the standard. It's like, oh my word, and my father. It's like, how embarrassing. My father never went to any parents' evenings. I went to 5 different schools. He never went to talk to the principal at all. He wasn't interested. The only thing he was interested is when you got straight A's. That's what he did. He was emotionally neglected as a child. His mother was emotionally neglected as a child. Her very existence was rejected. Her very existence was abandoned. So was his father. It's the nature of the beast. But then we come along, and now all of a sudden we all love and like people, and I've done my dark night of the soul, and I know who my authentic self is. And I know my higher self, and I can radiate at a loving light level, and I can heal people across the world by looking at a photo. I can read your dreams. I can appear in your dreams. I can walk through walls. I can speak to the dead. I can channel just about anybody. I remember my past lives whenever I want to. It's all there. I can manifest what I want to manifest, and really I'm this crap. It's all this cover up. It's all this beautiful makeup. So-called, presentation over really the absolute self-neglect, self-abandonment, self-loathing, and no connection, no emotional relationship to the real, authentic self. Nothing. You just got a whole bunch of dogma that was written by these Eckhart Tolles and Wayne Dyers, and again, all these. There's so many of them people. I don't even bother remembering their names, and just the whole culture of it all. And not just that, that's on the spiritual group. On the matrix group, it's all about the Benjamins, man. It's all about being an influencer. For heaven's sakes. Look at it, it's madness. It's absolute, as he says, it's mass madness. You people are mad, as he says in the movie The Network. He says, your lives are real. Your lives are real. We are so, connected to the screen. In relationship. That is what we're in relationship with. We're in relationship to Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie and Jennifer Aniston and Ronaldo, what's his name, the soccer player, and whoever it is, and Michael Jordan. These are the people that we're in relationship with, and Ed Sheeran and Miley Cyrus. And that's the way of life. You see, like I'm saying, you get the spiritual community, which comes again with the new age, and they're the spiritual light workers, and then you get the other people that are influencers. That's it, influencers. They're all trying to be influencers. They're all trying to be significant and important on that level. That's all they're trying to be, but no real relationship with the authentic self, because they've lost touch with that. Because they were raised against believing and supporting it, just as the culture does. So parents just follow suit and they raise their children just the same, and that's why we absolutely lost. Excuse me, we lost. So for myself, coming back, because continue with this in another conversation. For myself, what is my grievances? What is my frustration? This is my healing, people. This is my healing. The fact that I don't just feel like, oh, I can trust God in my life, or I can pray for things. Like I said on the beach the other day, do I actually pray to meet people in my life when God knows full well what I've been through? Surely it should be obvious. Why do I need to get down on my knees? Not that that's how I do. Got down on my knees and began to pray. Why do I feel that God will smite me, or will be, like my brother, like I said? Why do I feel that God, if I do have something beautiful in my life, then He'll take it away? Or she will take it away, or whatever it is, will be taken away. Just to show you, like that Rihanna story that I spoke about on the farm. This beautiful woman who I thought it was going to be, walking off into the sunsets together. I never heard from her again. Those kind of irony moments, a salt in the wound, slap in the face, where it's just like you think you're going to get what you want, and it's offered to you, again, like an oasis in the desert, and you think, wow, this is really, and it turns out to be a mirage. It's like, ha, ha, ha. That's what I'm dealing with, a brother that was mocking to me all the time, and so for myself, that's my healing. I'm not a light worker. I haven't, and I hear people talking about, like, no, I've gotten over my childhood trauma. I just want to, just bring me the puke bucket, please. This guy's like 32 years old or something like that, or even younger. He's just, no, I've been working on myself for the last 5 years and I've healed all my childhood trauma. I'm like, whoa, buddy, seriously. In how many years? 5 years. You've that's it, reprogramming your consciousness. I'm going to help you reprogram your consciousness. Gee whiz, when I hear these thoughts, and I hear these people, I was one of them. I also, when I started my YouTube channel, I was like, Aaron, I was born different. I don't know it, but I don't think I spoke with such audacity and being so undeserved confidence. I've got a YouTube channel, Any schmuck nowadays with a camera and a phone, signs up to a YouTube channel is giving, and what are you talking about? You're not even talking about your own direct experience. You're talking crap. You're just relaying what everybody else has said. But I'm such a special person because I got a YouTube channel. So I'm going to give you life advice. And I've read like a lot of spiritual books, I've read the Kabbalion. Woo-wee. I've read the Bhagavad Gita. Woo-wee, fantastic. You have no idea. I've spent like a lot of hours, guys. A lot of hours studying this stuff and going into ancient ruins and Atlantis and possible ET and all of these things. And I'm jacked up on the spiritual, the mystical side and the occult side and whatever it is. And I've read the works of Aleister Crowley and Carl Jung, and William James. Is it William James? I don't think it's William James. I'm getting confused now with certain poets or whatever it is. And Edgar Allan Poe. No, just kind of fringe stuff or whatever, conspiracy stuff, and about certain creatures that are actually running the world that have. I fell for that. Hey? I fell for that. The reptiles that were running the show and whatever it is, all that stuff. The David Icke. Where's David Icke today? Just the energy of that guy, of David Icke, how dark an energy of that guy. So dark. I'm sure he's doing podcasts and everything. Alex Jones. How grotesque. How grotesque. But this is all considered to be part of like the, it's kind of thrown into the spiritual community. Anyway, I'm getting carried away. It's too much to be said. And again, I really only wanted to speak for about 10-15 minutes. Now it's turning out to be over 40. So that's my healing. And I'm glad I did this conversation, although I'm still cynical about it, is that like, I don't find it easy just to sit and pray to God and say thank God for my experience and everything else, because I still got a lot of work to do on myself. I don't trust God. How can you not trust God? How can you not trust the universe? How can you not trust the universe? Like, who are you to say that? I'm saying in my own childlike way, my own absolute innocence, or maybe my own pride, or whatever it is, which I'm still working on, because I'm only human, right? I'm only human, that I don't feel that I can trust the universe that it has my best intentions in mind. Yeah, I'll take a psychedelic and it will show me absolutely that it does, and that it is, and that a cell phone, I can drive with a cell phone in the bottom of my car for 17 minutes, swinging around corners at a big speed, and it's still going to remain on the bonnet of my car. I can have these experiences, but the trauma of it, right, the injury of it is so deep, and it's happened for so long, when I was so vulnerable and I was so impressionable, and there was no one else to turn to. There was no safe space. There was no safe place. There was nothing. And that's how I grew up, moving into the limbic system, as Tim Fletcher says, away from the cortex, into the limbic system, the survival mode, not feeling safe, being conditioned and hardwired in. So excuse me, I'm going to be 43, and if I'm not just able to sit down and just, God, I know, or universe, or great mother, or whatever it is that you have my best interest in heart, and that you're taking care of me. I can't do it. I'm just being honest. And I feel bad. Oh, well, I can't believe it. Like I should, but I can't. I can't neglect myself and my own emotional experience and what I'm feeling. I have to honor that. And that's what I feel. That is what I feel is true. So I am wrestling with God, and I am frustrated. And I say, well, who gives you the right to say that you wrestle with God? You're not Jordan Peterson. He kind of made that a bit more well known, the wrestling with God. You're not Jordan Peterson. When Jordan Peterson speaks, he knows he's like a switched on kind of guy, and his intellectual buddies, which are these round table discussions that they have, which I find are so dry. I don't know, with Peterson, a lot of the time I'm like, oh man, it is so technical, it is so dry. He's sitting there in his fancy suits, and that's his way of how he does things. That's fine. I don't know. I find it so, maybe it is the fame got to him when he was in his class and doing his teaching, and he was overweight. Not that that was a good thing, and drinking Diet Cokes all the time. Whatever, I just felt like I could really connect with him, that it was really, I understand he's got to, I can't imagine doing any better job than he does. I would wreck it or something. I'm saying it's incredible, but there's something that's lost now in his fame. And he sits with his suits, and he's very, very, very presentable, and he's got the status and everything else, and the highly, highly intellectual, highly intelligent. I just feel that on the emotional level, anyways, besides the point, but what I'm saying is that yes, I too wrestle with God. And not just as an idea or something cool to do. It sounds like a book to be written, that sounds like a cool title, and it's from the Bible or something like that. No. I don't just wrestle with God between 7 and 8 in the morning, I'm saying I wrestle with God all the time. This is what I'm realizing now in doing this conversation. I wrestle with God all the time. And I wrestle with God in regards to my own upbringing and my own my own abandonment, my own distrust. Do you see what I'm saying? My own core wound, the damaged parts of myself that I'm trying to fix, if that's possible. That's what I'm trying to work with. Every single day I wrestle with God. I'm just realizing that now. Now I have to incorporate that understanding and take that on, and it's a big, big deal. It's a big thing that really makes my life like, wow, that's hectic. you know. It makes it more sacred. It makes it more meaningful, doesn't it? That I'm wrestling with God. Yeah, at times I have a bone to pick with God, as he says in the movie Bruce Almighty. The gloves are off, God. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that you can, that one, it's the most, sacrilegious thing that you can say. In a way, not just sacrilegious, but there's another word for it, which is like a Bible word, which is a lot more, what is the word? I can't remember. But, yeah, can you imagine that? The gloves are off and be like, but you know that it's, you, I'm saying that I am wrestling with God, knowing still the reality of things. I know that I'm limited. I know that I don't understand. I know that I'm wounded. I know that I'm hurt in the human, experience, in the human body. I know that I am. And I know that God is wise, or the universe, or Mother Nature, whatever you want to call it, is ancient. Ancient. Probably hundreds and millions of years old. Or we don't even understand what the hell time is. We don't know how many other dimensions are out there. We don't know how many different species there are in other dimensions in the whole universe. It is massive. It is huge. It is absolutely huge. It's like Truman lives in the Truman Show. Has never been to anywhere else. Hasn't been to any remote jungles. He hasn't been to any ancient ruins. He hasn't been to Iceland. He hasn't been, to the Maldives or Maldives. He hasn't been to the Great Barrier Reef. He hasn't been to, Great Wall of China. He's never seen anything. He doesn't even know that it exists. He's got no idea that it exists. We live in such a small, minute world. It's like the spider in my garage. What does it know about the rest of the house and how the workings of the rest of the house work? The toaster, how does the toaster work? How does the washing machine? Has no concept. It's just a spider. And so what I'm saying is that I'm just a small little speck of being in this time and space. And yes, I got a grievance with God. The magnitude of his existence, of its being. It's sacrilegious, again, what I'm saying. It's you should be burnt at the stake for such audacity that I have to kind of say, because you're so small-minded. You must just have blind faith and believe, my son. That's what it is. Just have faith and believe, my son, and that's it. And just carry on. And even if you feel abused by the universe, if you feel abused by God, if you feel your life has really been just one big, just mistake and whatever it might be, you just got to accept it. Still pray, go to church, go to temple, go to mosque, whatever it is. Just do your meditations, give your gratitudes to God, and then it'll be fine. Just shut up. Just like I was as a child, and I had all these questions that didn't make sense to me. Just shut the hell up. But I don't feel that this is right. I don't feel that God would want us to cut our penises, the top of our penises off after 6 or 7 days. Oh, shut up. But you're causing trauma to the child. Shut up. The baby doesn't remember it. Yeah, but the body remembers it. The trauma remembers it. Okay, so let's circumcise. Let's do paper cuts every day on a baby for a month of its first year of existence. When it's first born. Let's see how that baby psychologically turns out. But it won't remember it. But let's do little paper cuts. Let's leave the baby outside in the rain, whatever it is, every night, or in the cold, and it doesn't matter because it's not going to remember it. Stupid, pathetic, idiot people can't get in touch with the screaming. Yeah, but they say, well, it's good for you. It's hygienic. It's like, you know what? Okay. So, because it's hygienic. So that's what you should do. Heaven forbid. Anyway, so those disagreements that I had with you, shut up. That's going to alienate you. That's going to ostracize you. You're going to be rejected. You're going to be out on the street with a cup in your hand because you're embarrassing the family. You're embarrassing our status and our reputation that we have. You're a wayward child. and you shall burn in hell. Something crazy, man. Something absolutely crazy like that. I don't remember all of these things, but you can be sure that's what happened. Because I was forced to go against my very nature. So I don't trust my father's intentions on me. I don't trust that he understands what I need, just like I don't trust that God knows what I need. I've just made that imprint from my father and my mother. I put it on God. I don't do it deliberately. It's just the way that it appears to be the case. I don't trust my father. I feel abandoned by my father. I don't feel heard by my father even now. Right? I feel that my father is incompetent, that he doesn't know what he's doing. And even now, but even growing up, I feel the same with my mother. And I just relay the whole experience and the whole emotional experience that I had with my mother and my father on God, on the universe, on nature, and everything else. And you know what? It's hardwired into me. It's hardwired into me. So yes, so expect God to neglect you. Expect God not to have time to hear from you. Expect yourself to be so insignificant that you don't even exist on an emotional level, on a physical level. You don't exist. You know, all that you are is like a meandering fool that was a mistake that should have not happened, and eventually, you know, will hopefully just get lost somewhere, fall down a pit and die and just dissolve into the ground. That's it. That's how I was brought up. That's how I still feel to this day. I wasn't nurtured. I wasn't given that love. I was made holy. Holes were put in me, where leaked my own confidence, leaked my own self-esteem, my own self-love. And what was pummeled into me was self-neglect. Learn how to reject yourself. Learn how to abandon yourself. Don't take yourself seriously. Ignore your own emotional needs. Get rid of them. Just be, type of thing. Just fall in line, soldier. Fall in line. Go to school, get your grades, do what the hell you need to do, and that's it. Go to church, go to shul, go to synagogue, put on your tefillin, put on your tzitzis, do your davening, keep your Shabbos, say your Shema, say your Modeh Ani in the morning, kiss the mezuzah on the way out. I know all these terms. I know all of it. Your benching afterwards, we have to sing Shira Mahalois B'Shuv Adonai Et Shivat Zion Hayinu Kochamim Hazimales Choy Pinu Oshoneinu Rina. I can go on. Oh, I can go on. That's the after grace. We call benching. I can tell you about things that are muktzah. I can tell you what an aveira is. I can tell you what a mezuzah is. I can tell you what a chuppah is. I know it all. That's how I was raised. And then a part of me rejected it all. And how do you think it made me feel? How do you think that went down? So this is what I'm honoring now. And when I first started this talk, I was saying that I feel guilty about not being positive, I'm not being upbeat, I'm not being appreciative, and whatever it is. It'd be like, I should be smited. It's almost like you're doing an aveira, and aveira is a sin. An aveira is, in the Hebrew, is a sin. You're being sinful for not being appreciative. It's like, you appreciate this, boy! You will appreciate this, son. You will do what you need to do, and you'll appreciate the shit out of it. And if you don't, I'm going to throw something else your way, whatever it is, chop off your arm, and you're going to appreciate that too. Eckhart, must appreciate. Give gratitude, give thanks. Give thanks for your abandonment. Give thanks for your rejection. Give thanks for your separation from yourself, from your true essence, from your emotional state, from your own existence, to everybody, to everything. Give thanks that you are just turned into a robot. I am a robot. That's it. Just give thanks for that. That you are so lost on your way. That you're so disconnected from reality, from truth, from essence, from love. It's all mostly artificial and fake. And give thanks and praise. And forgive your parents. You must forgive. Forgiveness is godliness. Or whatever it is. Something like that. Forgiveness is godliness. That's it, guys. Today's talk we're doing is on forgiveness. Just forgive it so that you can move on from their energy and that you can, let's get into that. Again, and I feel like I'm the only one talking about this, man. I feel like I'm the only one. I feel like I'm going insane. I feel like I'm the only one talking about this, and I'm the only one that's discovering this right now. Like, hello, people. What on earth is going on? Is it such a slim chance of making it this far? Of discovering this? Okay, maybe I'm just delusional. Maybe I am. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm just very delusional. I've made this whole thing up in my head, and I should just shut up and sit down at my laptop and check out my, how many likes I got on Instagram, and whatever. Maybe I, go to more Jordan Peterson talks, go to more Eckhart meetings, take on more of these personal motivating courses where people tell you how to turn your life around and get rich without even trying. I don't know. Maybe I've lost the plot, Or maybe I just have the guts. Maybe I just have the skill and the ability to realize, hold on, what's actually going on here? Talking about childhood wounds and childhood trauma and how it affects our relationship to the divine and to God and to ourselves, on a spiritual level. So much easier just to go to church, to sit there for a couple of hours, every Sunday, and then feel like, you're good. It's ridiculous, guys. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. So the thing is that for myself, ending off, is that it's an ownership, and this is a lot of work for me to be done. There is so much work for me to be done. Often I think that I'm quite a highly evolved soul, and I've done a lot of work already, and therefore I can kind of sit back and relax a bit. But then I realize, what? I haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg. You know how scary that is? Do you know how deep this goes? Do you know how deep this goes? And nobody's talking about it. Nobody is really addressing it. And this goes deep. And so for myself, what am I talking about? Is that I live with a massive self-doubt all the time. I doubt anybody's listening to me right now. I doubt I'm just talking to myself. That's what I feel. I doubt it because I don't feel that I have the worth. There's a part of me that doesn't have the worth. I do feel emotionally what I'm saying is very relevant and very real and very important. But at the same time, I have this mockery that's like, no one has time for you, Aaron. No one has time for your rubbish. No one has time for your sort of, your woo-woo stuff and your spiritual, love and light or whatever it is, or your fringe type of thing. No, I haven't got time for that. I'm going to the office. That's what I'm doing. Like, I don't have time. I got to watch this Netflix series. Got to catch up with it. I got to binge it. Like, Aaron, for you, what you saying? Oh my goodness, so heavy, so boring, just so like, depressing. Yeah, we're so not in touch with our own reality, hey? I'm just saying for myself, so not in touch. Anyway, so the self-doubt that I have, the constant fear of bad things happening to me, and that not going to have support or not going to have understanding, or that I don't even enjoy, I don't even deserve happiness, I don't even deserve peace, I don't even deserve love. Yes, these are honest. I'm being honest with you. This is my honest experience. Because Aaron has lost the plot, because that's what I'm saying. Aaron has lost the plot, but you know what? I think I'm more sane than the majority of people around by saying this is how I feel. So, but you shouldn't feel that way. I know I shouldn't. I know logically. I know in a way, in my head, the kind of character, the guy that I am. I know what a blessing I am to people's lives. I know what I have to offer people. I know it, but I don't always feel it. And there's always this constant conflict and division within me that says you're a piece of shit, man. Or you just don't deserve it, or something or other. You don't deserve to be alive. You don't deserve to have good things. You don't deserve to have love. I keep saying that. You don't even deserve to have self-respect or to feel, self-fulfillment. You don't deserve. And you're just making a fool of yourself and a shame of yourself. When I talk about it, it comes easy to say those things. But to say, no, you're an incredible guy. You really have something to offer. You really have something beautiful. It almost goes against, there's something inside of me that's saying, no, no, no. The ego is saying, no, no, no. You can't say that. You can't honor your intention. You can't honor your divinity. You can't honor your emotion. You can't honor your uniqueness. You can't honor your authenticity, because that means death. That means death. You can't do it. You start talking about it when you were a kid. You got slammed against the wall or whatever it is. You got rejected. You got booted out of school. You got booted out of Jewish, camp and whatever it is. All of these things, don't do it. Just stay. Just play that field. That you should take your brother's abuse every day. His mean tricks, his ugly behavior towards you, and whatever it is, he's bullying, he's beating you up. Take it and just keep quiet, because my mother would be like, you guys are fighting again, like, can't you just leave each other alone? It's like it was my fault. It's like, you're causing me problems. I'm like, but hold on a minute. Say, no, I don't care if you got if you got like big bruises on your arm. I don't care if you got a sprained wrist because he keeps putting your hand behind, putting your hand behind your back. I don't care, and that used to happen. I had a jaw, whatever, it was clicking because he punched me in the jaw. I don't care. Just leave me alone. Take the beatings and shut the hell up. So that's it for me now. It's like, okay, God, universe, bring the abuse, bring it. Let me just everything that I've gone through, my own loneliness, my own dissatisfaction with things. Just bring it. I'll just keep quiet. Just keep on bringing it. So for me to actually stand up and proud and to say, you know what, I deserve and I want to be happy or whatever it is, it's like, who the hell do you think you are? Do you see what I'm dealing with here? Do you see what you're dealing with in your own life? Have you even paid attention to it enough in your own life? Are you too busy off studying, I don't know, ancient architecture, ancient beings or something like that? Or, I don't know, what's the relationship that you have with yourself? What's the relationship that you have with your emotional existence? Not just your relationship. What's your emotional relationship to yourself, to God, to life, to others? What to death? What is your emotional relationship with it? I'm sharing my emotional relationship with all of this. And I have to, because if I don't share it, and also to own it is so painful. It's so large. It's like, geez, man, I got such a big job on my hands to do. I live with the self-loathing all the time, the self-denial all the time. It happens automatically. It's happening, and I try and fight against it every day, and I wrestle with it every single day, and I try and be a better person and get through it, and just sort of crawl my way out of Shawshank, like he did in the sewage tunnel. Crawl myself out of it, and it's raw sewage, and that's what I'm doing it, and I'm doing it every day. And yes, it's so much easier not to do, which most people don't do, and they'll turn to Eckhart because it's all love and light, and you're already enlightened, and there's no more ego, and there's no more suffering, and it's only happiness, and it's only bliss. Meanwhile, you're still stuck there. You haven't even moved a centimeter within the tunnel, surrounded by all this raw sewage. Yeah. Even right now, I'm telling you now, I even have a thought right now that I'm supposed to confirm an order with somebody about something or other, and I'm not doing it, and there's even a thought in my mind saying, Aaron, you're being irresponsible. You shouldn't be doing this talk. You need to finish off this talk because it's not that relevant, it's not that important, and you need to get on with the important things. You need to do the kitchen, the dishes are dirty, you need to have something to eat, whatever it is. You've got things to do, you're not being responsible. But this is the most responsible thing I can do, but I don't own it. I don't stand by my own side and say, you know what, this is it. I happen to be in a flow of a very, very important conversation, of a very, very important idea, about a very, very important philosophy, way of life, my own existence, my own healing and my own nurturing, and yet there's a part of me that's ego that's saying, Aaron, it's not important. You've got other things to do. It's 9:30 now. You haven't checked, your messages or whatever it is. You're expecting something. You haven't showered. You haven't got things to do, and here you are busy muddling. Because that's how it was. As I'm saying, growing up or even whatever. I was always interested in this kind of stuff. It was like, Aaron, and people would say to me, you can't. There's no time for this stuff. Self-discovery. You got to go to university, my boy. You got to go focus on your studies and on your grades. Can you see what I'm saying? So even for myself, if I was, meditate, just know you're wasting your time. Come on, make those Benjamins, make us proud, do what you need to do. Why is my front gate open? Yeah, not wise in South Africa to leave your gate open. Anyway, so I need to end off. You can see this is an ongoing conversation with developments at real time happening, you know. And yeah, this is like life or death, eh? This is sink or swim. This has to be done at all costs. This has to be done at all costs. So yeah, I hope I've made sense in what I've been saying, and I hope that I mean, there'll be more to this. I hope I can reconnect to this theme again as well, because it's very, very important. And I think this is what's going on for me behind the scenes all the time. That's one of the things that I would like to do, smoke Mary Jane, so it will be able to help me connect with these kind of things. But I don't want it to happen in such large amounts that I become sort of a bit overwhelmed and inundated, and I can't actually function and do the dishes, or I just have to lie down and my head is spinning and I just can't, you know, I'm not in touch with reality anymore, my own character, my own involvement, and it's just too much, you know what I mean? There's just too much simultaneously happening for me to actually function in the world and get and focus what I need to do and pay the bills and everything else. That's too much for me, that, you know, it's just too much for me. So yeah, that is very hard. But then again, how my childhood experience and my emotional relationship to myself, my parents, and to God is still very, very much, I live life still very, very much the same as I did when I was probably about 5, 6, 7 years old. And that's why I don't find it easy to pray when I feel like I've been abandoned by God. And again, I associate my father and God to be the same character. The way that I was raised, it's the way that I see God often over the time. And again, you don't have to use the word God, you can just use Father. You can, I mean, it is Father, it's something high above. Something higher and above, yeah. Alright, let me just be responsible here in a certain way, and trust that I'll have other further talks on this subject as well. Alright, thank you for making it this far, I do appreciate it.